The question I have is administrative capacity. And I don't question the department's willingness, because if it's forced to, it will. But the question is, all the things that you've chosen to pick, the two items, require a considerable amount of effort in terms of enforcing, monitoring, equipment for monitoring. And we know self-reporting doesn't work because criminals always think they're going to get away with it. So in this case, are they going to actually self-report to the point that we can be confident in them? So the whole point of this is that does the department have the willingness and capacity to actually monitor and enforce in a meaningful way? That means actually putting money out for equipment, with chemical analyses, and making sure that all of the materials from the time they get into the yard to the time that it goes up the stack are actually being monitored in a way that is meaningful and will actually result in reduction rather than ongoing complaints that we had from the time that the initial application came out, which was in September of 2015, and we had to constantly force the Air Quality Division people to come out and do what they minimally had to do. So I'm just asking, how can we be assured that there's going to be actual compliance by the department on its own rules?
That's a good question. Thanks for bringing that up. A lot of people, they don't like self-monitoring, self-reporting with facilities. And that's the way it's set up, pretty much nationwide under the Clean Air Act for a lot of things. We don't have enough people and resources yet coming and checking them on a daily basis. So you're correct. There is a lot of self-monitoring, self-reporting, but there's also checks and balances. One of the things that we do initially is when we set the limits in the permit, we look at what the rating capacity of the boiler is. We know what the maximum capacity is, so we know how many tons per hour of fuel that they can burn. We also have limits in the permit how much fuel they can burn per hour. When we do stack testing, we try to do a worst case scenario of the maximums. And we look at the emissions. From that, we determine whether or not they can meet the emission standards and our toxics rules. So we have that to look at stack test emission data under worst case scenario conditions. We can have them operate the plant and burn the fuel at levels that we want to see to make it worst case scenario. And then we can identify those emissions to see if they're meeting standards. The other thing is we can go in at any time, like I said, and take fuel samples to make sure that they're complying with the 400 parts per million chlorine concept for railroad ties. So there are some checks and balances, and that's what we're there for. We're not only there just to take their word for it and look at the record keeping and monitoring, we also have the ability to have them pay to have emissions tested by a third party. And we're there to observe that. And we also can take samples ourselves. So there's other checks and balances that we use to ensure that they're compliant, other than just taking their word for it.